Welcome to the Fight Night Daily podcast. I want to say the calm after the storm, but we didn't really get a storm, Spencer Oliver. What we got was an underwhelming fight between JakePaul and Mike Tyson, taking nothing away from either men. It wasn't the spectacle that you get in a big boxing match. Mike Tyson tried to roll back the years. It wasn't there anymore. JakePaul, and after the first round, it was really JakePaul's fight for 7 rounds. How do you see it? What are your feelings right now?
Listen, I think that, it was always going to be a chance that was going to happen, wasn't it? We're talking about Mike Tyson here, who was, past his best 20 years ago in his last fight against Kevin McBride, and you go fast forward 20 years, he's not lived the particularly best life. So there was always that danger we was going to see that. Yeah, he looked in great shape, and when we saw him at the workouts, he was hitting the pads well and rolling, and we were seeing glimpses of Mike Tyson, and that was sort of enough for me. And tonight, I'm going for the ring walk. For me, was about me reliving my childhood, going back to when I was 10, getting up with my dad to listen to Mike Tyson knock out Trevor Berbick to be the youngest world heavyweight champion in history, and watching Tyson's career from there. That was my moments. That's what inspired me to get in boxing, and reliving that ring walk was brilliant. But when that first bell went, we saw glimpses of it in the first round, and from then on, Gareth, it was just all downhill, and it become a bit of a ball fest, if I'm totally honest. I mean, there were people leaving in the venue there. I think it was very underwhelming, that's for sure.
Do you feel that Mike Tyson shouldn't fight again, shouldn't be in a ring? Would you be concerned about his health?
Oh, 1,000,000%. I don't want to see him in the boxing ring again, that's for sure. I think Mike Tyson said himself after the fight there, he said, it wasn't about any proving to people, it's about proving to myself.
But he also said he might have another one.
Yeah, I know, we forget that. I think that's heat in a moment, adrenaline pumping and whatnot. Like, you won't see Mike Tyson in the ring again, not in that performance. Look, we were lucky enough to see him again in the ring, where, it captured the generations that people relived it, and people were seeing it for the first time because of JakePaul's, audience as well. So look, they were very fortunate to see Mike Tyson back there again. But the spectacle, the fight itself, it was no good.
The whole week's been fascinating, though. It's been great to be around these guys. It's been marketed very well. It sold the venue. It was capacity 72,800 was their capacity tonight. It will have done a massive audience on Netflix. But like you say, there's a feeling of, it's kind of disappointment, isn't it? There's an element of disappointment about it. What next for JakePaul? Can he call out Saul Canelo Alvarez, as he's done, and fight him at cruiserweight? What goes on in your head when you think about that fight? We wondered if it was a step too far. He'd bitten off more than he could chew against Mike Tyson. He was very funny afterwards, by the way. He said he likes to bite when he bites his glove when he's fighting, because he's got this propensity to bite. I like the joke, but I think his mouth shield was a little bit loose. What do you think, seriously, as a guy who's boxed, whether, obviously, Canelo has fought at cruiserweight, but he's not a cruiserweight, he's a super middleweight. What do you think about JakePaul, the big guy at 200 pounds, against Canelo? Weight divisions for a reason, or has he not got it?
No, you're talking about levels here, mate. Come on, don't disrespect
we can't do it.
Alvarez.
We mustn't allow it.
But
what if Canelo Alvarez can earn 60 million or something?
Yeah, well, listen, then he may well go.
Should it be licensed or not by a
prize
commission?
fighting, but
should it be licensed by a commission?
No, because at what point does JakePaul, has he earned the right to be getting in the rankings and being able to fight for a world title? If he boxes Canelo Alvarez, that would have to be, for me, an exhibition, because how can you fight for his titles when you've not got a world ranking? You can't all of a sudden be put in the world rankings, because then it makes it rocky.
Hang on, it's not necessarily a world title.
No, that's what I'm saying.
It's a fight with Canelo.
Yeah, well, then someone will sanction it, I'm sure. Some governing body somewhere would sanction it. But what I'm saying is, it's not a match, is it?
Well, I think it's a horrible mismatch myself.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even a fight.
I don't think it'll be for a world title. I just think it's a horrible mismatch. But I think JakePaul is after the biggest names he can get. Let's go back over the card a little bit. An amazing scrap, an amazing guerra mexicana between Abel Ramos and Mario Barrios. They fought each other to a standstill and a split draw.
Yeah, well, that was the right decision. I mean,
what
an incredible fight. I think Barrios started the fight so well. He looked in complete control, had knocked down in the first round, knocked down in the second round, and you just thought, he's going to take over here. He's going to get this job done inside the distance. But Ramos, showed that he's teak tough, and he come back and he bit down his gum shield, and he started turning the tide, and then he puts Barrios down in that 5th round, and you think, oh my God, it was a real seesaw, and both guys had their moments. They fought to a standstill, and that was the right decision. I think the draw for me was the right decision. Barrios showed minerals, and he come back, turned the fight back into his favour again. But what a fight there, and he keeps his WBC welterweight title, and deservedly so.
A lot of people not happy with the results of Katie Taylor. I'm trying to remember the result now. 95-94, 3 times on the judges' scorecards. A lot of people felt Amanda Serrano won the fight. The cut, first of all. I mean, we both said it. I'm going to say it myself again. I've never seen someone get cut so badly. 5th round, 6th round got worse. Point deducted for Katie Taylor for use of the head. I think the referee was right to do that. But, I mean, we were calling it at the time live on talkSPORT. We were saying this fight needs to be stopped. It was like butchery. It was horrendous. And yet, she went all the way, and we felt Serrano won.
Yeah, absolutely. I had Serrano winning by a couple of rounds, especially with a point deduction as well. I mean, take nothing away from Katie. She was hurt in the 1st round quite badly. She come back. She does what she does. I mean, these two girls are pioneer for women's boxing, not just women's boxing, women's sport. Madison Square Garden 2022, when you look at that fight and what the spectacle they put on there, one of the best fights in history at the Madison Square Garden. They took off from when they left off here. That was round 11 for me. They went through and they delivered. But Gareth, I want to talk about that cut. That was horrendous. I've been around the globe, and I've worked, like yourself, on all the biggest fights, and we've seen some of the horriblest cuts, in boxing rings. That was the worst I've ever seen. That when the referee
to carry on
when it first happened, the referee should have stopped the fight there and then. He took her over to the corner mopped it up, and the referee allowed it to continue. Then they have another really bad head clash. I think it was in about round 8 or something like that, and the referee takes her back to the corner again. But that cut opened even worse. It got deeper, and he let it go on. I mean, what's going on there?
Well, had they stopped it at that point, I think the rules would have dictated. Serrano was clearly ahead at that point, and she'd have won on points, I think, or might have been annulled as a no contest, given that it was an accidental clash of heads. But, yes, accidental clash of heads, but Serrano's team have complained in both fights now that Taylor uses her head. Is that justified?
Oh, well, listen, I think that Katie Taylor is one of those girls that, she fights in spots, she goes in and out, she's coming in with her head low, and Amanda Serrano...
versus Orthodox.
Yeah, but Amanda Serrano's very straight-backed as well. She works straight back, so these sort of actions can happen. Were they deliberate? I can't really comment on whether they was or they wasn't, because it was such an intense, explosive fight, and like I say, them sort of head clashes, they do happen, but it's just unfortunate that Amanda come out the way that she did. I mean, that honestly, it was turning my stomach watching that. Her eyelid was literally hanging down.
Serrano, for me, deserves another fight with Katie Taylor.
1,000,000%.
I really do think they should fight again. Obviously, their teams have got a lawsuit. Eddie Hearn and JakePaul, their promoters and managers have got a lawsuit. Final thoughts on the week. We've had an amazing time. Slightly underwhelmed right now, aren't we? We're not going away with a big buzz. Final thoughts?
Listen, I'm slightly underwhelmed by the fight. Yeah, maybe so, because maybe we was expecting a little bit more from Mike Tyson. But a week as a whole out here in Texas, Dallas, Texas, has been absolutely insane. Being up close and personal with Mike Tyson. Your bromance with Mike Tyson has been brilliant as well. I mean, that's been fun as well. And
let's go and find him.
Listen, absolutely. I think it's after party with Mike Tyson. Let's just do that, shall we? But fantastic week out here in Texas.
It was. You've been listening and watching the Fight Night Daily podcast. All your boxing news and views and opinions you can get on the boxing YouTube channel at talkSPORT. It's been a great week. We'll be back to the UK tomorrow. See you next time.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.